Welcome back to Movie On. Today I'm going to explain the movie called Honeymoon from 2014. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care, and I hope you enjoy it. At the beginning of the movie, we saw a couple who were planning their honeymoon. One of them was Bia, and the other was Paul. They were just a newly married couple. They were watching their wedding video, and they were so happy about it. The next day, they went to a small town to celebrate their honeymoon. There was a house in the middle of the forest. Actually, this was Bia's house when she was little. This house has not been used for so long. There was a beautiful lake by the house, and now their romantic honeymoon begins. But at night, when they fell asleep, suddenly a beam of light fell on their face. But since they were in deep sleep, they couldn't understand what it was. The next morning, Paul made breakfast for Bia and himself. After spending a good time, they went fishing in the lake with their boat. It was summertime, but still, the lake water was so cold. It was evening time when they came back from fishing, and that's why they were looking for a restaurant to have dinner. After looking for so long, they found a restaurant. But the owner of the restaurant was breaking everything inside the restaurant. He straightforwardly told them that the restaurant is closed. But suddenly, Bia called him by his name. His name was Will, and he was Bia's childhood friend. Once they were boyfriend and girlfriend. He told Bia that you guys wait here, and I will get you some food to eat. But then we saw Annie, and she was Will's wife. She was looking so strange, but when Will saw her in the restaurant, he got angry and took her inside. Bia and Paul did their dinner and came back to their house, but Bia was worried about Will's behavior. What exactly happened to Will? Maybe he didn't marry the right girl, and that's why they were mad at each other. After hearing this, Paul asked her, "Do you still love him?" And they started arguing about this, but they fell asleep. Suddenly, the alarm started to ring. Paul woke up, but he didn't see the clock. He thought that maybe the sun was up, and that's why he became ready to go fishing. Bia was still sleeping in the bed, but while Paul was about to go outside, he saw that it was 12 a.m. in the night. That's why he went back to sleep again, but he saw that Bia was not in the bed. Paul began to look for her in the whole house, but still, he couldn't find her anywhere. After some time, he went outside and looked for her in the forest. After a long time, he saw that Bia was standing in the distance. She was naked, and she was looking down to the ground. Paul got shocked and went close to her. He called her slowly, but Bia got so scared about it. Paul gave her his shirt and took her back to the house. He asked her, "Why did you suddenly go to the forest with no clothes on?" Bia told him that, "I don't remember anything. Maybe I was sleepwalking." And after this night, Bia's behavior changed so much. Paul told her that, "I've known you for so long, but you've never sleptwalked." Bia tried to stay with him normally, but her behavior was not normal. Paul noticed it. When Paul was about to have sex with her, he saw that she had a bite mark on her thigh. Paul asked her about it, and she said maybe these were mosquito bites. But the scars were bigger than mosquito bites. That's why Paul started to doubt her. He went to that place where he had found Bia last night. He found her dress, and there was some sort of liquid material on her dress. He hid the dress in the room. At night, when he was about to have sex with her, Bia was ignoring him. Paul got mad at her and asked her what's wrong with her. "You've changed a lot." And he also asked her about her dress. Bia lied to him and said that the dress was in the laundry, but confirmed to her that he had found the dress outside. They argued with each other about this fact, and they went to sleep. But suddenly, that beam of light fell on Paul's face, and he woke up. Paul followed that light and went outside at midnight. He saw a shadow on the window, and he thought that this was Will's shadow. He thought that maybe Will and Bia were doing something. Paul took out the gun to kill him and fired at the shadow. The next morning, we saw that Bia was writing something in her diary. She wrote in the diary that, "My name is Bia. My husband is Paul. This is our childhood house." When Paul came to her, she closed the diary. Yesterday they argued with each other, and that's why they said sorry and went outside on a fishing date. Paul told her that, "I don't want to stay here anymore." But Bia said no. Meanwhile, they kissed each other, but then Bia started to bleed through her private parts. Bia told him that maybe it's that time of the month. But Paul knew that she was injured. That's why he asked her to go to the doctor. Lastly, Paul got so annoyed and shouted at her. He asked her what happened to her. "You are acting so strangely lately. You're doing this for your friend Will, right?" And then Paul went to Will's house. He saw Annie was outside. Annie was also acting strangely. She told him, "My name is Annie, and my husband is Will." And Paul had noticed this in Bia's diary. He asked Annie about Will, but she told him to go away from there. This is not a safe place. And suddenly, Paul noticed that bite mark in Annie's thigh as well. Before Paul could ask her anything else, Annie left with the boat. Paul found the hat of Will in the lake, and it had bloodstains on it, which means Paul was in danger. Paul secretly went to Will's room. He saw that the computer was on, and he saw some security footage of their house. Some days ago, Annie also went outside with that beam of light, and suddenly, the lights of that house started flickering. He saw that there was some paper on the wall, and in those papers, it was written that the same thing that Bia was writing in her diary. And those pages also had the liquid slimy material. We saw a shadow on the window. Paul came back to his house, and he showed Will's hat to Bia. He thinks that Will has died, and we should get out of here as well. I don't know what's happening here. Paul thought that Annie was trying to save them, and all of this is happening because of Will. That's why Paul was looking for the car keys. He could not find the keys, and he thought that Bia might have hidden the keys from him. He got so mad at her, and kept looking for the keys. Suddenly, he found a diary of Bia. He saw that something was written in that diary. He realized that the one who is standing in front of him is not his wife. She's someone else. He told her that if you were Bia, then you would have remembered everything. You didn't have to write this down in your diary. And Bia was talking to him with a strange accent, as if she was remembering everything, and then talking to him. Paul realized that she was lying, and that's why he tied her to the bed. Paul noticed Bia's body, and some sort of slimy liquid was coming off of her body. Paul put his hand on Bia's private parts, and he found a creature inside her private parts. Bia was crying, and Paul was so shocked after seeing this. He untied her and came outside. After some time, Bia came outside as well. She had no idea that she had gone outside by following that beam of light. Bia told him that I didn't see anything because of the dark, but there was a black shadow that went inside me. That shadow had made me pregnant. I can feel it inside my belly. I wanted to tell you everything, but I was scared about you. I know that he will take me with him in 1 or 2 days, but I didn't want to tell you because I wanted to spend the last time of my life with you. Paul told her that nobody is going to take you anywhere. I'm calling 911. But suddenly, that light fell on Bia's face, and Bia told Paul that I don't need you anymore. Bia hit him on the head, and he became unconscious. The next morning, Paul woke up and saw that he was tied in the boat. Bia told him that there's only one way to save you. He wants to kill you as well, but I want to save you. You will be safe under the water. And then Bia threw him into the lake. Maybe that is how Will had died that day, and now Paul also died like him. At the end of this movie, we saw that Bia's body had become so ugly, and she was watching her wedding video. Suddenly, Annie came there, and she was also looking so ugly as Bia. Both of them went in the direction of that light, and the movie ends here. But we need to tell you something more. So what exactly was that beam of light? Actually, the beam of light, or the black entity, was an extraterrestrial entity. And that's why Will was breaking everything in his restaurant, because he also had some changes in him. Maybe that creature had made Annie pregnant, and that's why her behavior changed. Bia was also pregnant because of this entity, and a creature was growing up in her body. And that's why she was acting so strangely. Bia was totally in control of that entity because of that light, and therefore she threw Paul in the water. The main theory is that the alien entity was in the lake water. That's why Annie and Bia threw their husbands in the water. And in the end, they got trapped in that alien entity totally. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, I will say, stay safe, stay well, thanks.